As much as it pains me to say this, and I don't like admitting when I'm wrong, but as a man, that's what you gotta do in this life. I was wrong about this Colorado football team. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hope all of you having a great week. Hope all of you having a great Wednesday night. At least that's when this video is going to be uploaded. If not, hope this video can make it a little bit better. And man, oh man, we got some apologizing to do. Well, I say apologizing, but it goes hand in hand with also admitting that I was wrong. I thought about adding a couple other topics in with this video, but I feel like it's only right. This is the one and only thing we talk about. I don't want to make this an extremely long video, but at the same time, I got to give you some context and I want to explain everything and give credit where it's due. So first things first, to give you some context and perspective, this is highly important for what we're about to talk about in this video. We got to throw it all the way back to when Coach Prime was at JSU, aka Jackson State. I thought he was doing a great job there. I thought Shadur Sanders, I remember making videos stating even though he was at JSU, I didn't care about the lack of competition. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the nation. Deion Sanders is dominating there. Colorado, they have a coaching search, and also, Auburn was having a coaching search, and I thought Auburn should have went after Deion, but different conversation for a different day. Long story short, Deion ends up at Colorado, and I thought it was a great fit. Why did I think it was a great fit? For multiple different reasons, but here's a couple. Deion's a winner, and what do winners do? They win. So if you want somebody to turn around your program, hire a winner. But also, I knew he was going to be good for that program and university when it comes to marketability. Colorado's key problem is they just straight up sucked, and they had zero talent whatsoever. The year before Coach Prime got there, 1-11. I'm going to repeat that, 1-11. Do you know how bad you got to be to go 1-11? In college football, most of these Power 5 teams at the time were guaranteed 3 to 4 wins because of all the cupcakes. I say that to say this. 1-11 when you got like 3 guaranteed wins on the schedule, quite embarrassing. And it doesn't matter how good of a coach you are, if you don't have the dudes, it doesn't amount to a hill of beans. And I knew Deion would be able to bring in some of those dudes. Most importantly, he already had a couple of studs going with him, and that was Travis Hunter and you-know-who, Shadur Sanders. If you ask me, Colorado getting Coach Prime, it was a match made in heaven. They couldn't ask for anything more. As soon as he got there, before they were even playing football games, he was making that program and athletic department a boatload of money. It was ridiculous. And most people don't even understand this as a different conversation for a different day. But it's not just from ticket sales, it's from merchandise, parking, concessions, and the list goes on and on and on. And I remember making these videos just like it was yesterday in that off season during the summer. We was talking about it quite a bit because it was a fascinating topic and subject. I thought year one was for sure going to be a crappy year, and I had them going 5-7. They actually did worse. They went 4-8. Here was my blueprint I laid out. Year one, you should strive to go 5-7. Year two, 6-6. Year three, 7-5, and then after that 8-4, 9-3, basically just adding one more win per year and one less loss. I didn't think Colorado could get to the level of winning 9 or 10 games until best case scenario year 4, year 5, if he stays that long. And there are some rumors swirling that he might leave, but that's also a different video for a different day. And I already know somebody's going to say, Matt, what are you talking about Deion leaving? Like I said, different video for a different day. Getting back on track here, they started out the year about as good as you can do. They upset TCU. I had to shave my head bald because of that, because I thought there's no way Colorado would beat a team who just made it to a championship, but turns out TCU wasn't that good. That's not to discredit Colorado. I was still shocked they won. Then they had the come-behind win over Colorado State. They're 3-0, and they played Oregon, and after that Oregon game, it was really downhill. And as the week slowly but surely went by, this team looked worse and worse and worse and worse. One of the worst defenses I've ever seen, and there's a legit case and argument in stating that was the worst defense in the nation last year. I'm not even going to sit here and say the offensive line was pitiful because I don't think it does it any justice. They were beyond pitiful. Wide receivers, running backs, and quarterback, that was the bright spot. Everything else, not so good. They ended the year on a huge losing streak, blew that 29-0 lead to Stanford, and they had a lot of guys enter the portal. There was going to be a big turnaround heading into this current season, and it wasn't looking good. To start the season, although they struggled, they came out with a win over NDSU, 31-26. For those of you that may or may not recall, I got pretty close on this game. I predicted Colorado to win 31-28, so doing some simple math, I was only off by 2 points. When I was watching that game, I left it thinking, yep, this is the same sorry and sucky Colorado team I watched last year. But even though I thought that, some other people, and when I say other people, I'm talking about you guys in the comment section, were like, no, Matt, it's different. We're better this year. I said, yeah, whatever. We'll see against Nebraska. And, well, against Nebraska, look like the same sorry and sucky Colorado team I watched last year. They laid an egg. The final score, as you can see right here, I'll show it to you, says 28-10, but trust me, it wasn't that close. By that point in time, I was almost assured that it's a new year, same Colorado football team. I kind of figured it was going to be a similar season. They were going to finish 4-8, 5-7. But then they destroyed Colorado State. That was impressive. And the week later, they barely skimmed past Baylor in one of the most miraculous wins you're ever going to see on a Hail Mary. The Hail Mary just got them in overtime, and then in OT, Travis Hunter made that play. We've already talked about the game. You know how it went. But even after the Baylor game, I was still saying the same thing in all my reaction videos because they weren't impressing me. They didn't look too good. This isn't hating. It's a fact. They should have lost the game against Baylor if Baylor would have made a field goal, just played some defense on a Hail Mary, and in overtime, didn't fumble that one. Colorado shouldn't have won the game, but there was still a bunch of you and Colorado fans telling me, Matt, this is a good team. You got to give them credit. I was like, no, this team sucks. Or not that the team sucks, kind of exaggerating. I stated the defense sucks. Offense, same old, same old. Not a very good offensive line. And Shedeur Sanders, greatest quarterback in the country. And you got Travis Hunter. I specifically called them, and you know what I'm about to say next, an AAU basketball team. But since they're playing football, an AAU football team. They got a couple good players. Coach rolls the ball out on the floor and says, hey, guys, go make a play. That's it. That's what Colorado is. I said that last year, and I said it in this year because up until this most recent weekend, that is how I viewed them. And I'm just being 100% transparent and honest. But then last week rolled around. They had a matchup with undefeated UCF. Although I don't really think UCF's a great football team, Colorado was a 15-point underdog. 15-point underdog. And they were going on the road, so wasn't going to be an easy win. I did preview and predict this game. I had UCF winning by, I think, 3 points. I thought it'd be close. I vividly remember stating, I don't know why the line is 15 points. If I was a betting man, which I'm not, I'd be eating that line up. Despite what I think, UCF was a 15-point favorite. Colorado went in there, and from quarter 1 to quarter 4, whipped their butts. This game didn't get talked about a lot on Saturday due to the incredible finish with Alabama and Georgia. But I'd tell you this much, Colorado might have had the best performance out of anybody on Saturday. And to me, it was the most impressive performance. It was even more impressive than Alabama's. I have never seen Colorado look that good. I have also stated Colorado is not a quote-unquote real football team and a quote-unquote serious football team. And I'll keep this short, simple, and sweet. They shut me up, and they made me look like an idiot. I know somebody's going to say, well, Matt, UCF isn't good. You're not telling me nothing I don't know, but I don't care about UCF. I'm evaluating Colorado for how they looked. The one thing I've always paid attention to when evaluating this Colorado football team is the defense and offensive line, because I know what I'm going to get out of Travis Hunter, Jimmy Horn Jr., the running backs, and Shedeur Sanders. The offensive line and defense was always the major area of concern, at least for me. Their defense came to play against UCF. They did give up a good amount of yards, but they made big plays. They forced 4 turnovers. To go on top of that, one of the most shocking things to me in this game is Colorado's offensive line looked like a real deal offensive line unit, and they've never looked that way with Shedeur Sanders back there. And I can't talk about every player in every position group in this video, but I want you to understand Colorado from top to bottom, they played a great game. Everybody, not just Shedeur and Travis, but everybody played really good. This was the definition of a total team win. And if you're a Colorado fan, you got to be feeling amazing. This was complete domination from start to finish. Everybody did their job. Will Shepard, Travis Hunter, Jimmy Horn Jr., Wester, Micah Welch, so on, so on. I say all that to say this, and it's probably the part you're waiting for in this video. It's time for me to apologize. I was wrong about this Colorado football team. I didn't think they could be this good this early on. I thought maybe in year 3 or 4 and possibly as late as 5 they could be good, but not in year 2. I thought this would at best be an average football team, but right now they look like a good football team. Now you still have to understand and realize to not have recency bias. They still got their eyes beat in by Nebraska and struggled with NDSU, but that was early on in the season. It looks like to me they're turning a new page. I hope for their sake this isn't some fluky win, but to me, if you want my honest opinion, I didn't think it was a fluky win. If they can continue to play at this level, granted I'd say that was like their A game, watch out. That's all I'm going to say. I think if they can continue to play like this, they could win 9 games this year, maybe 10. I know I said that probably wouldn't happen in the offseason, but look at them now. They're 4-1, and their schedule's not that hard. Gotta remind some of y'all, this isn't the SEC or Big Ten. This is the Big 12, one of the worst Power 4 conferences. As much as it pains me to say this, and I don't like admitting when I'm wrong, but as a man, that's what you gotta do in this life. I was wrong about this Colorado football team. I also want to apologize to Coach Prime and the fan base for saying this is not a quote-unquote real and serious football team. They are. And I also want to apologize for saying this is a quote-unquote AAU football/basketball team, because they are not that, and from now on, this point forward, I will not call them that anymore. That is, unless they return to playing like that, and I don't think they will, but I'm just saying, if they go on like a 5-game losing streak and they look awful, I might have to use that phrase again. And let me remind some of y'all, me calling them an AAU football team, I wasn't trying to crack a joke. That's quite literally how I viewed them, and it's how they were playing. But as long as they keep playing like they've been these past couple of weeks, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to do that, because that's not how they're playing. They're playing like a legit team. And you could argue and say this is a legit, at this point in time, top 25, top 30 team. I'm very curious to see how they do in a couple weeks against Kansas State. That's when we'll really find out just how good they are. That'd be a great game. By the way, I believe, yeah, they're kicking off at 9:15. Holy crap, that's past my bedtime. I got a feeling that's going to be a good one. That's all I got. I'm curious. Let me know your thoughts down below about that.